A very good evening to everyone present here. It is truly matters of a mind spread and joy for me to welcome you this very insightful 28 online interactive session, which is also the 24th Alumni Leadership Development Program. I extend my heartfelt greeting to the esteemed Honorable Chief Guest Speaker for a day, Mrs. Komal Puri ma'am, and respected Honorable Chairman Professor BP Singh sir in absentia, Honorable Senior Professor Ajay Kumar sir, and Honorable Director of the College, Professor Director Mahesh Sharma sir, respected Registrar Dr. R.S. Singh sir, and respected faculty members and my dear fellow. I am Habiba Swail, a proud student of BCom Honors Batch 2023 to 26 at DSPSR. Feel deeply honored to stand before you today. DSPSR has always been committed to academic excellence, industry integration, and holistic student development. And today's session is another wonderful step in this direction. To commence this session on the auspicious note, let us now take a part in the symbolic ritual of lighting the virtual lamp. This is the act represent the removal of darkness and the assuring of wisdom and enlightening. May this flame of knowledge guide us toward the clarity, confidence, and success in the ahead. Now I kindly request sir to play a virtual lamp lightning video, please. Arun sir.
क्रटुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा शुभं भवतु कल्याणम् आरोग्यं सुखसम्पदा शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते।
It is my honor to welcome the distinguished speaker for today, Miss Komal Puri ma'am. And ma'am is a alumni of Indian Institute of Mass Communication and complete his executive program in digital marketing strategy from the prestigious.
Can I make a request?
Yes, sir.
I think let Komal introduce herself to the whole group in detail because
Okay,
she
sir.
knows about herself the best.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Komal, would you like to introduce yourself to the group? We all have been waiting for you.
Sure. Very nice to be here, and it's a pleasure to meet everyone today on the call. My name is Komal Puri. I have a experience and I have a background in commerce and communication. For over 15 years, I started working with different kind of startups, different kind of organizations. I'm primarily a tech marketer. Currently, in my capacity, I am leading the marketing team of FarEye, which is a technology company that's based in Noida and Chicago. And I lead their global marketing function, which is everything combined with a team of about 20 people. In my education, I've got through different parts of India, different parts of world. So I've tried to get myself as aware as possible about everything and every sphere of geographies, every sphere of different lines of education. So I've to add to what Habiba was saying, I've done my Bachelor's of Commerce Honors in Investment Banking from Hansraj College, Jalandhar. Then I've done my first post-graduation from the Indian Institute of Mass Communication, and then my second post-graduation from Kellogg School of Management in New York. So that's about me. I'm very happy to answer any questions as we proceed.
Is FarEye the only organization in which you have worked, or you have worked in other organizations?
So FarEye is my sixth or seventh organization. I
Okay.
started working with a media firm when I graduated first, which was in 2011. So there I worked with different kinds of tech companies. So it was a a PR agency, a media agency. So we used to work for different clients across technology. So I was working with Canon cameras. I was working with Plantronics and some cloud-based tech like Dell and Symantec. Then I spent another time in a very similar organization, moved on to a research firm called Indian Data Corporation. And this was again for about 4 years. Then I moved on to hardcore tech, which is when I started working with SaaS, software as a solution kind of companies. In the last 11 to 12 years, I've been working in the SaaS domain. So a major part of my career has been with the tech firms.
So from revenue generating role, you came into cost center role.
And now I'm trying to make sure that we are not looked at as a cost center, but you're absolutely right. I mean, from actually, even that was a cost center role. So I've never had the privilege of being the sales side of business. I've always been in the cost center.
Marketing side.
Every single day, you got to make sure that, you are starting to look like a revenue flag bearer than a cost function. So that's something that you bring to the table every single day.
So Shivang, when you articulate your questions, please remember her vast experience, and questions must be all encompassive onto a total experience instead of only being connected with FarEye, because she has played both the roles, business roles as well as the functional roles.
Okay, sir.
Okay, over to you, Shivang.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So, ma'am, I'm just going to ask you some questions so this can be more interactive and beneficial for the students. And I'll make sure that the questions are more growth and opportunity based. So, the very first question I wanted to ask was, how did your journey begin after graduating, and what inspired you to take marketing as a career?
So I will go back a couple of years when I was studying in school, and I loved participating in anything that had got to do with speaking. So whether it was extempore or whether it was debate, whether it was anything to do with public speaking, I immensely enjoyed them. So while I was a good student, I always had a 90% up in my marks, and everyone thought that, I should take science as a line of study and I should, like most of India, become a doctor or engineer. So that is what the general norm was. Except maybe my parents, who thought that, there are so many doctors and engineers in this country, and we don't want you to just study day in and day out. While you're great at studying, we also want you to do different things in life. My dad kind of put a lot of focus in terms of that, do different things, see world in a very different way, and establish an identity for yourself. So when I started doing that, I decided that, okay, let me just pick up commerce as a line of study, because I think based on whether I was good at science or not is not the reason I wanted to pick up science as a stream of communication. I wanted to pick up something as a stream of communication stream of study that I thoroughly enjoyed. So that's how I took commerce, and then I combined it with maths to keep it very competitive, and so that I don't just kind of slug into the things. So I had commerce with maths. And then because inherently I always liked studying a lot, I decided that, okay, I will also study investment banking now. So when I did all of that, I think that Kida came back again of being one of the things that most of the people are. So I gave my CA, chartered accountant, prep exams, and I got through them. So I started learning how to be a chartered accountant. After 1 year of that, I decided that I don't think that I am great at taxes, or I don't think I'm great at accounting while I'm scoring excellent marks, but I'm not enjoying it. And for me, number one rule is that you can only be good at something that you inherently enjoy. Unless you are loving what you're doing, you will never succeed or never excel in it. So that's something that I've always believed in. So then I stopped doing chartered accountancy, and then I said that, okay, let me try MBA. But my number one rule with my own self was that I will only get into an MBA college if it is an IIM or maybe just a couple of more. So I had a very strong, tight list of about 7 to 8 colleges. And I said, if I'm not getting into these, I'm not doing an MBA. I did not get through any of those with just a slight mark. But then slight in an MBA world is huge. So I did not get into an MBA college. And then I decided that, okay, I want to pursue still the same thing. So I'm going to pursue it with, then I gave the exam of Indian Institute of Mass Communication. And that's how I got into this institute, which again had a very strong sense of scoring and a very strict way to get in. But I was lucky and I worked hard towards it and I was able to get in. So yeah, that's how I started with my education background. And then everything else kind of followed through. I was lucky to get good breaks. I was extremely hardworking. So I think both of them combined, luck with hard work, kind of got me where I am today.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So one more very important question, because there are a lot of fifth semester students over here that are going to graduate next year. So most of them ask this question, I should ask this while I'm hosting. So the main problem is whenever we go outside and we try to give interviews, the main thing is experience चाहिए, और experience के लिए job चाहिए, और job के लिए experience चाहिए. So the main thing is that after graduating, should students pursue higher studies or immediately gain experience first?
That's a good question. I always believe that whatever stream of line you're graduating with, based on number of people in the world that exist with that kind of graduation stream, you should take that decision. So when I graduated, I was a BCom graduate, and BCom graduates, the kind of jobs that were being offered in our country were not the kind of jobs that I wanted. By that, I mean both work-wise and both money-wise. So you have to decide a goal for yourself. You can do either or. But for me, the goal was that I wanted an X kind of paying job and a Y kind of profile since the very beginning. So I decided that I do want to do my post graduation first, but I don't want to spend another 2 4 years into it. So that's how I picked a 1 year postgraduate course from IIMC. And then once I was done with my 3 years of graduation, I I had no plans of getting into a job immediately after. I think some of you, if you really want to, you can. But my preference is always that you do a 3 year graduation. You top it up with at least a 1 year post-grad course, which gives you a good experience of theory, which you are taught in graduation, and practicality, which you may get into a postgraduate course, but it's still not a 2 year long commitment. And then you start working. Now, when I was interviewing with companies, they didn't necessarily want experienced people. Of course, they're always preferred, but it's never mandatory. So as long as you're good in an interview, you can show some skill. Now, that skill could be confidence, that skill could be communication, that skill can be the studies that you've done. You have to shine with one skill, which then lets go of the need to have a work experience. Now, so you also have to understand that why are companies looking for candidates with work experience? They're not looking for that. They're looking for skills. Because once you've for 1 year worked in a company or 2 years worked in a company, you learn how to talk, you learn how to, present yourself, you learn basic presentation skills. That is what they're looking for. So if you are able to gather all of that during the course of your education, and at the same time you also kind of work on, like I said, your confidence and your speaking skills, it will never be mandatory for you to have work experience. And it is incorrect to feel that you did not get a certain job because you did not have a certain experience. Because if it was mandatory hota, those companies would have never shown up to interview, right? They would have rejected you right there and then, that you don't have an experience, so we don't want to interview. The fact that they're interviewing you means that they do not have that as a hardcore. So you just have to understand that showing up as a fresher will not work. You have to show up as somebody who's very confident, somebody who knows communication, if not anything else. So it is how you show up. It's not what your experience has.
And Shivang, I think Komal is absolutely right. So DSPSR is will be launching a lot of skill-based programs They will be around HR, they will be around marketing, they will be around IT side. But when those programs will be launched, students will be astray. They won't actually participate in those programs, don't pick up those skills. And then again, they will be asking the same question to themselves or to the industry, that it's a vicious cycle of job experience, job experience, job experience. So to all your friends in the college, Shivang, you must propagate that whatever skill-based programs which are being launched in DSPSR, whether if you are from BCA, MCA, the IT side, if you are from BBA, HR, finance, marketing, sales, if you are from other district, BCom, certification programs on accounting, like macroeconomics is a big opportunity these days with larger corporates. You can get job in companies like Tata Sons if you are a good macroeconomist, if you can understand Indian economy and you can predict, do the data modeling of large indicators of the country. But when these programs will be launched, there will be no participation. Now, that is the irony which not only DSPSR, but most of the management institutes are undergoing with. On one hand, students don't participate, and on the other hand, students want cozy jobs. That is not possible. Students will have to pick up skill-based programs. As Komal said, that in case you are being called for interview, it means that they are considering you, but they don't select you. Why they don't select you? Because they don't see the skills. Now, DSPSR has recognized that, and they're adding skills into the students. Then, in case you have those skills, then you will be picked up. So your chances of placements are going to be above 95%.
Yeah, I
And
agree with that.
yeah, and Komal, I mean, if you want to add something, please go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, my urge to all the students would be that don't think that you are there just to get marks in the subjects, or you are there to just get attendance and things like that. As students, it's very difficult to find value, but the most amount of value is in your communication network, these skill based workshops, because that is what teaches you and prepares you for the real world. That is what will give you the edge. So if you don't take those seriously, and if you don't take competitive conversations seriously, or having conversations with your peers, your professors, with each other, that is what will really prep you. Like in IIMC, I want to call out that the entire mode of education was primarily giving presentations, talking to one another, talking to people, getting skills versus just subjective knowledge. Subjective is good, it teaches you the fundamentals, but the skill based programs, I would say, should have 100% attendance, because that is what will give you the edge. And then when you walk into an interview, nobody will question whether you have a prior experience or not, because you're not portraying as if you don't, right? You look like you're already ready. So I think that plays a very important role.
All right. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir. So this is one more thing that I'd like to talk about, especially with my classmates, all the students present over here. तो देखो, शर्माने की बात नहीं है। प्रोग्राम्स लॉन्च होते हैं, उनमें आया करो, शर्म तब आएगी जब प्लेसमेंट नहीं लगेगी। अभी तो शर्माने की बात है ही नहीं। जब कैट क्लियर नहीं होगा वो शर्माने की बात हो सकती है, लेकिन यहाँ पे एटलीस्ट ट्राई टू गेन सम स्किल्स दैट योर कॉलेज इज गिविंग फॉर फ्री। when you're going to get out of the college, फिर 10, 10, 20, 20,000 rupees you're going to pay for 6 to 8 months, and then also I don't think you'll learn much online over here. Teachers are going to actually, it's going to pain them if you're not understanding. They are going to try their best, so you should try your best too. So ma'am, one more question. This is something I heard about from people in my family working in corporate. So they are like, your skills can overshine your degree, but till what point? They also said that after a while, if you have not done postgraduate, then it's going to be a problem related to your, going up the corporate ladder. So do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, I would partially agree with that. Not in the sense of, so there are two parts to it. Okay. The first part is, what is your education? And then the second part is, where is it from? Um, for the first good, I want to say, primary years. Some companies would want to add that as a filter. And the only reason that they do it is because otherwise they will have 100 people to choose from. The minute you put a filter, you'll have 50 people to choose from. Once you start working 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, people will stop asking you that question. It is always preferred to have a postgraduate degree, but don't pressurize yourself into thinking that you need a very expensive MBA degree, or you need, like, if you remember, I just told you that I decided I will not do MBA if it is not from one of the top 10 colleges. And the reason to that is that MBA is a very, very expensive form of education. All education is expensive, but you don't get that kind of return on investment once you invest 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 10 lakhs in an MBA course. It will nowhere add that kind of money to your salary when you start working. I'm going to give you a very practical response to this. So think of courses that are below 1,50,000. There are plenty courses in the world which will give you post graduation kind of an exposure. Keep your education loans limited, but certainly try and get a postgraduate degree, primarily because of two reasons. Like I said, some companies put a filter so that they don't have to go and hunt the best of the best talent from a very big crowd. They want to put filters for themselves. Second, they will always give you skill-based learning when you're doing post-graduation. So that anyway helps. But stay away from just blindly spending lakhs and lakhs of rupees for an MBA degree unless it's from your short list. Always have a short list that agar in colleges mein hua, then I'm going to go, otherwise I'll find something else. There are more than enough courses in India. So you don't just blindly decide, okay, now I want to do an MBA. If it's charging me 20 lakhs, I have to do that. That's not true.
Yeah, ma'am. So one more thing you talked about, it was about public speaking and presentation. So I just wanted to ask that how can young professionals develop confidence in public speaking and presentations?
It is a very cliched answer, but talk to yourself. Stop having conversations just here. Start thinking out loud and start thinking in a language that you want to take with you. Now, it could be English, it could be Hindi, it could be French, it could be Spanish. It depends on the kind of language that you feel you'll represent yourself best in. Start thinking in that language. The problem is when you're thinking in Hindi and you're translating in English. Now, let's assume today you wanted to be a German professor. You can't think in English and then speak in German. Any language. So I'm not saying one language is superior to the other language. I'm saying whatever language you want to excel at and you want to be your primary form of communication is the language you think in, you speak in, is the language you watch the programs in, is the language that you do everything in your life in. So your first language of communication should be the language you choose. So if you choose to have English, then between your friends, English has to be your first language of communication. There is no reason for anybody to laugh at it, anybody to make fun of it, or anybody to say, oh, this is style now. Suddenly you have to understand there is a very brutal world outside of college. So if you can be very good to each other within college, support each other out, bring one another up. So if someone is trying to, let's say, talk in English because they want to make sure that their English is flawless and the other person is making fun of them, you both are going to fail in the outside world. But if you guys can just take a step back and say, my friend or my colleague or my peer is trying to do something great, let me support it. If I can't speak, at least I will let them do what they are trying to do. So that is when you truly become each other's support groups. And that is the only way in which you can truly, truly, truly change your way of talking to one another, right? Hasi, mazak, we've done all of that in college, all of that in school, good, ghar pe karte ho, bahut acha karte ho. But now that you're in serious business, once you graduate from here, you will not have this kind of support system. So support one another, start thinking in that language, watch shows in that language, talk to yourself when you're alone. And that's it. That's the only way in which you will truly, truly, truly excel at communication. Communication is as good as जितनी तुम बात करोगे. आप ज़्यादा बात करोगे, आप ज़्यादा better बनोगे. So you really have to think that it's something that you guys have to support one another in.
Yeah, so there's a question from marketing students that one of them asked that what skills should students develop today to stand out in competitive industries? For example, such as SaaS or etc. Anything else?
So we are in a very turbulent world right now. By that, what I mean is that it is no surprise or it's not hidden from anyone that AI is everywhere, right? So now that AI and chat GPTs of the world are coming in, and they are doing a lot that people used to do earlier. Now a tool is doing, right? आप chat GPT आप लोग भी use करते होगे for your exams or for your learning or whatever it is. So that is what I mean by turbulent, right? So there is such a turbulent world out there. People are being replaced by tools. So you have to think through that if you have to survive and if you have to have a certain skill outside of college, you have to learn how to use technology to your benefit and not get replaced by technology, which means that if you know exactly the kind of prompts to give to a GPT, if you know exactly where to use your head and where to use your tool, not everything has to be manually done, right? Technology is for our benefit. There will always be a need for somebody to use technology. Technology can't use itself. So if you get early on and get the right skills to how to use technology to excel, I think that will be the biggest learning. And how you can really do that, some practical ways would be to use GPT, learn prompt engineering, and you don't need to have a course for it. There are hundreds of free videos. GPT can teach you how to use GPT. Talk to them, talk to GPT, what kind of prompts can make, my research better. What all can, so jo bhi karne lago, pehle socho can technology do it? That's number one. If tech can do it, then I need to do something above it, is what I would say. Second is, as I would, I think, say it for the 100th time, your confidence in your communication. If you can't explain what you're trying to say in 30 seconds, you're not doing it right. Try to be really, really brief about what you want to say, which also means that if you have to explain something to somebody and you go on and on and on, nobody's listening you. We are in a deficit attention economy. We are used to scrolling on our phone, which means that we are so used to understanding something in 10 seconds or we're off. Same is true for जिससे आप बात कर रहे हो. When you are not understanding something on your phone, you're just scrolling up, right? So if somebody's not understanding you, they're just checking out. So you have to learn how to explain yourself in less than 30 seconds. So these are bits and pieces that if you're able to kind of, get your head together, that is the only kind of competitive, that is the only kind of way you can be prepped for the competitive world, is what I would say.
So after we finish college, there are going to be a lot of placements, a lot of companies are going to come in the college. Children are going to go to, all the students are going to go to different places. So, but with all the opportunities, there are a certain set of challenges. So I wanted to ask, how did you balance challenges and opportunities in early years of your career after starting in corporate?
See, have your goal very, very clear. By that, what I mean is, which means that in the first couple of years in your organization, don't try to balance everything, try to learn everything. Right now, you don't know anything about anything. So, right now is not your time to balance your time. And it's not even to just slog at work. कि ठीक है, अगर हमको 100 लाइन लिखने को बोला है तो हम 100 लाइन लिख रहे हैं. That's not what I mean. What I mean is smartly, how can you understand the most how a company works? सिर्फ अपने डिपार्टमेंट के बारे में नहीं. You guys should learn about how everything around you functions, which is called awareness. You can't be siloed to your working thing and think I'm excelling at it, so I'm the best. Because you have to understand life is like a pyramid, okay? Which means that when you all start off, 100 of you will start off. जब next promotion आएगा तो 50 का ही होगा. उसके बाद जब next promotion आएगा तो 30 का ही होगा. So you are working in a pyramid. So when you get placed, you all get placed equally. When you all get promoted 2 years, 1 year, whatever years from then, you don't get that equal. You get that based on how much of awareness were you able to build? How much do you know about everything, every function? So be a sponge. घर पे मम्मी या कोई आके बर्तन धोती है, right? They use a sponge. That sponge will absorb anything that you put on it. Water, soap, whatever. You need to be that sponge. Information दो, मैं सब कुछ absorb कर लूंगा या कर लूंगी. You have to just absorb everything that comes your way. You have to be so focused in the first couple of years that the only thing that you should do in your life is learn. I would not say just work, because work is like I just explained, right? 100 line लिखने को काम कहते हैं. उसके अलावा ये line क्यों लिख रहे हैं हम? What are other ways in which I can write this line? Can someone write this line better than me? Where are you going to use it? इस line का fundamental existence क्यों है? You have to be inquisitive. You have to learn. You just don't have to write the line. I hope I was able to explain it.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. So when I started my internship, one thing that came up often was networking. So how can students start to build their network early? What are the ways and what will be the best that we can do at this point in time?
You can add, so number one, you have to fundamentally understand that networking is not just knowing somebody. Networking means two way. You knowing, ऐसे तो आप शाहरुख खान को भी जानते हो, आप उसका नेटवर्क तो नहीं कर रहे हो. So knowing somebody's name or title is not networking. Networking is that if you were to send them a text, they will send a text back to you. If you are replying to somebody, if you're asking somebody a question, they're replying to you. Just knowing who's working in which organization is building a database. That's step 0 of networking. That you're able to build a database. Now you know the top 20 people you want to know. You start writing to them, and you write to them in a way that adds value. You don't write to them in a way where they are too busy to respond to you. Probably you add a line to somebody saying that, listen, I need your mentorship to learn very specific X. The more specific you are and the more brief you are the ways in which people will respond to you more. Right? So you want people to be able to respond to. There are many channels. You can be at a trade show that companies organize. You can buy a pass. You can talk to them on LinkedIn. You can talk to somebody on Twitter. The fact, like I said, networking is two-way. So now you're talking to them, they have to respond to you. They will only respond to you once you have a very specific way in which you nudge them to ask a question. And you are very brief. क्योंकि अगर आप एक बहुत लंबा मेल उनको भेज दोगे या LinkedIn message उनको भेज दोगे, nobody has the time. People get 20 hundreds of these every day. But if I read something that says, I know you've done PR, for example, I'm learning how to crack Indian media landscape. I just need 10 minutes. I'm a student, for example. I will certainly respond to them because now I think it is my responsibility that if a student has reached out, I should respond to them. And B, you're asking me something that I know I can add value. And B, you're only asking for 10 minutes. And now that I've responded to you, I'm in your network. So networking is the most abused word. People just know somebody's name and they're like, yeah, I know this person. Yeah, but the person doesn't know you. So networking has to be both ways, like I said. Got it.
So one more thing that has started to scare students the most is AI. So there have been so many guests and they talk about AI, and most of the students, they just hear the negative part because they are used to it, that AI will replace you, AI will take a lot of jobs. So do you think AI will replace entry-level marketing jobs?
No,
Or
I
is it
think
going to...
2 questions back, I was exactly talking about this, right? AI को use करने के लिए तो you need humans only. So AI is not going to use itself. AI is supposed to make people better and lesser. So when I explained the pyramid model to you, there were 100 people doing the same job. With AI, 80 people will do the same job. But it won't be suddenly 0. And the only 20 that lag behind are the 20 who have been lazy enough to not learn how to use AI. It will not be because AI today company decided कि I will not join anyone because now AI can do it for me. AI को use कौन करेगा? So if you have to be the smartest person in the room for companies to value or to see value in you. So you have to learn what to prompt to an AI so that AI gives you an answer. You have to learn how to use it. And that's why I'm saying कि इसके लिए तो आपको course भी नहीं करना. AI can teach you how to use AI. But the only magic will be that if you can't use it properly. अब वही है ना, जैसे आप इसको उससे compete करो. जब 2000s में computers आए थे, a lot of people thought that, oh, we're going to lose our jobs because now there are computers, which means we're going to be jobless. The people who learned how to use a computer are still working. People who decided, oh, I don't know how to use a computer, sorry. Today, there is no single company in the world that doesn't have a laptop. You guys have laptops, right? Now imagine somebody said, I don't want to learn how to use a laptop. Then obviously you're going to be left behind. To think of AI as the computer revolution. As long as you can learn how to use it, you can use it for your own benefit. You can use it to make your work better. Nobody's taking anybody's job. तो वो same वो है journey of having a computer and having it.
Yeah, so what do you think in the future we are going to see more jobs related to AI? And if so, then what are they going to be, especially related to marketing?
Yeah. So we also have to understand that there are no jobs related to FarEye. I will say that again. Related to AI. I will say that again. Any job, you will use AI as a part of the job. Okay. So which means that within marketing, right now, a couple of jobs that you should not want to think about because they're very heavily worked through AI would be probably content marketing. Right? Because content AI is generating, so people are very cautious of hiring content people. You should be an excellent data person because AI can help you analyze data and you can upload a lot of data and then learn from that. Within marketing, your ideas, your creativity is still not something AI can challenge. You can get more ideas from a tool, but eventually you're using it. So I would say that within marketing, there are 5 or 6 disciplines of marketing, right? There are product marketing, content marketing, digital marketing, video production, design, and every single principle of marketing has a tool. So if you're a designer, you can always use Canva. So it doesn't mean nobody will hire a designer. Somebody has to use Canva. Somebody has to use the tool. Similarly, the only thing that I will say that I'll shy away from is making my profile very, very heavy content writer, because then you're doing only one single piece. Think about yourself as a product marketer, or think about yourself as a, and right now I don't think you have the liberty to choose a stream. You have to start with general marketing. There is event marketing, trade show marketing, which AI can ideally not run in short term at least. How to run an event, how to run a trade show, how to do different things within marketing. Not everything AI can run right now, but when you're doing those things, if you're using AI, then you're just making yourself prepared for the future.
Thank you, ma'am. So one more thing I wanted to ask was there any myth you had related to marketing careers when you were a student? And how did you reframe your thinking?
Yes, I thought that it was actually, even when I started work, I thought that marketing was about just writing and talking and branding. I did not know it is also about revenue generation, that you will be a very important part of a company to generate revenue. And you will have a big responsibility every single day at work, because if the revenue is not coming in, nothing is happening. If no money coming, no money going. It's very simple, right? So for me, that was a real, because I always thought that pipeline generation, lead generation, revenue generation is a different discipline, and marketing is different discipline. But today it's combined in one. It's not blurry anymore. Marketing is not just branding. Marketing is branding as well as generating leads and pipeline and revenue.
So, ma'am, you have led teams globally. So, what cultural or mindset differences should students be aware of when they are working internationally?
So each country, each region is very different. So I have had teams in Europe and America and Southeast Asia, Middle East. Every culture is very different, right from the way they operate to the timings they operate to how they understand. So you just have to be extremely conscious that they're very simple things, okay? Little words that we use and they take offense in it. So, for example, I travel to US a lot, okay? In India, if you're sitting at a restaurant, you'll say, can you please take my order? Right? People are like, sure. Da, da, da. In US, if you tell someone, can you take my order? They're offended. They're like, why? Are you in a hurry? You're supposed to say, I am ready to make an order. So it is so nuanced. I cannot generalize it. The only way I can generalize is that आप जैसे बोलते हो is not how the other person is used to hearing it. We say decks, we say presentations. Americans would say, I want a PowerPoint. We can also say PowerPoint. We understand PowerPoint. But it is the word that we are very used to using and they are very used to using. Indians will start work at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and work until 10 p.m. An American will start work at 7 a.m. in office. They will go to office at 7 a.m. and they will wrap up their day by 4 p.m. So the timings, how they work, the language that they use, the professionalism is way more in the Western world than in India. There is no pick up the phone and say, yaar, kuch bhai jugaad kar le. There is no bhai, there is no jugaad. This is the way it operates. This is the process in which they operate. And this is how it works. So in real world, be very, very conscious of when you start. The biggest skill that you will learn if you're trying to learn in different geographies is observe. See how people are talking, people are behaving. Because if you are 1 and they are 20, then you want to observe how the 20 talk. If one American is an Indian, then the American needs to observe how Indians talk. So it is not about one person being more important than the other, or it is not one culture being more important than the other. It is about if you are 1, they are 20, or if they are 1, you are 20. So if an American comes and decides to sit in your college, you will not learn how to talk to the American. The American needs to learn how to interact with the Indian kids. So observation is very, very important. And who observe depends on who's lesser in number. And every country, every region works in a very different way. Middle East will only operate on relationships. America doesn't care about relationships. America cares about processes and are you a registered vendor? Middle East is like India. So today, if I want to talk to somebody in India, I know if I have a good relationship with them, my work will be done. In America, that doesn't work like that. So these are just little examples, but the summary is that language that you use, the tone that you use, where you emphasize, your work timings, everything is different in different parts.
So you said you have worked in Southeast, you have worked in the East, you have worked in Europe, USA. So where did you have the best experience and where did you have the worst? And what were the reasons?
So I loved working in the US because of a couple of things, because of process and how direct they are. It was also moments of frustration because as Indian, you're very used to finding a middle ground. Let's figure out something around the process. They don't understand that. Unke culture mein hai hi nahi something to go around the process. If there has to be a queue, they will be in the queue. Even if they have to wait for 3 hours, they will be in the queue and they will not complain. In India, imagine somebody standing in a queue for 3 hours. It's never going to happen. So I think I enjoyed the best time in the US because of they value your time. So they don't expect you to be available at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, which is a very personal way of my operating as well. So even in India, I expect people to kind of not call me after a certain amount of time work-wise, or I'm available really, really early in the morning, but people are not. So I would say that I enjoyed personally US the most because of the way the country operates and because of how everything is black and white. You don't have to assume or you don't have to figure out or whosoever has the best relation will win. All of that doesn't exist there.
So how can one transition from a generalist role and become a specialized expert like you did in SaaS?
So you can only do that a couple of years in. I would say at least for the first 1 or 2 years, be a general marketer. Be whether you want to be a tech marketer or a B2B marketer or a B2C marketer is a decision you have to take on day one. You can either work for a B2C brand like a Nike or a Dabur, or you can work for a B2B brand like a Dell or a SaaS company. So that decision you have to take, like what really interests you. B2C jobs are slightly lower paying than B2B jobs because B2B is considered traditionally very monotonic and very, very, robotic, monotonous. But for me, it's never the case. But everyone has their different way of operating, like I said. So which industry you want to go in is what you have to decide on day one. Within that industry, you don't have to pick a specialization that early. So it depends. So there are two things. You're talking about an industry specialization versus a stream specialization. So you should pick one where the country is headed. So country is right now doing a lot in manufacturing. Country is doing a lot in SaaS. You have to understand what the macroeconomic condition of India is, which industries are headed for growth. You can't join a industry because it's booming in America, for example. Eventually, the America's macroeconomic condition will also impact India's. So it will eventually add up. But if you're working in India, then you want to see which industries are booming, because then those industries by default has the highest focus, is the one that will hire the most, is the one that will pay the most. So that's how you pick an industry. And then within that industry, whether you're a digital marketer, a product marketer, a content marketer, a designer, that you only decide after a couple of years of doing general marketing.
So, ma'am, like you worked in global markets. So, how did you explore those global opportunities?
So I have been lucky to have been work in New York with my current company. So I joined a startup, which was an immense amount of hard work in the beginning, but it also kind of pays you back in a way, because when you're a part of the startup, you become a part of the founding team. You can do what you really, really like. And in good time, when they have international opportunities, you're obviously the first contender for it. So I went to New York from my current organization. If you're sitting here and if you want to take a job in the US, I'll be blunt and honest, that's not going to happen. Because US, the way US gives people jobs, visas, is a very tricky situation. I know it's very easy, it's still relatively easy to work in different parts of Europe. It's relatively easy to work in Dubai, or different parts of Europe, or even Canada. But America per se is not going to happen from India unless you're a student there. You just don't get the work visas. So if someone is trying to go international at this point, I would say Dubai and Barcelona and Budapest. These kind of countries have programs where they're inviting working professionals and students. So that's one way. The second way would be, once you start working, you work in an organization which in future can give you that kind of opportunity. So you kind of have those conversations at the very beginning.
So, how do you see marketing?
Shivang, just a
Yes,
second.
yes.
We are at 6:47.
Yeah, we have to end at
Can we
7.
open the forum for questions and answers for rest of the audience? We have around 79 people in the call today.
All right, sir. Okay.
One less than 80.
Is this the usual number? Is this a bad number? What number is it?
It's the lowest we have ever had in on any call. Oh, so sorry, Komal. So
I
sorry.
know you're kidding. It's fine. I also know a little bit of body language. It's fine.
Generally, we have around 1,000 to 2,000, but today it's
Oh,
only
I thought about a
17,000.
lakh. Ishita, didn't you say a lakh? I thought she said a lakh, but that's okay.
Okay, so Komal, I have a couple of questions which are in the interest of students.
Uh-huh.
Uh, the first question is between B2B marketing, which is a focused marketing,
Mhm.
correct? You have target business segment, you have enterprise accounts, and the whole marketing is centered around attracting enterprise accounts and elevating your own internal value, right? So that they see value in your business and the proposition which you have to actually give it to them, give it to the society. B2C marketing is separately a little different. It is more on attracting the volumes. It has to be catchy, it has to be wacky, it has to be so that brand recall value is very high, and anybody who thinks of using something to paste only thinks of Fabicol. Anybody who's thinking of driving a cycle only thinks of Atlas,
Yes.
right? And all rich men think of only Audi and BMW, and all first-time buyers think of Suzuki and Hyundai. Now, both the dynamics are different. Now, when you were working with the direct clients, you would have got all kind of clients, and the list which you mentioned, couple of them, they were mostly B2C.
Yeah.
Now, FarEye is a completely B2B game, right? Where there are limited organizations who are in the industry of logistics, who are in the industry of delivery, and you address the last mile solution for them.
Yeah.
For the interest of students, can you explain what is the difference between both the sides of the marketing?
There are two different ends of marketing.
That's
Is
what exactly I want to know.
way you reach out to them, the kind of order. It is extremely simple. Think about it. If somebody is trying to make you buy a pair of jeans, how would they market to you versus somebody is trying to sell software to Dell? In your head, it's going to become extremely evident that both of the ways that you do it, I wouldn't even say the principles of marketing is same. It is not. The only same thing is where the only common denominator in both is that a human is buying from a human. So the narrative, the storytelling, the persistence remains. The human principles remain. Everything else is different. The way you measure marketing becomes very different. The way you spend on that marketing becomes very different. The kind of skills that you need to have become very different. So, for the sake of this conversation, I would do a 5-minute parallel between, let's say,
Sure.
a pair of jeans and I'm
Take your
trying to
time.
sell software to Blue Dart. You all have heard of Blue Dart, right? Blue Dart is the
Take your
one
time.
who sells parcel. Now, I have to make them buy technology and I have to make you buy a pair of jeans.
Mhm.
Number one, they're not buying technology at a mall. They're not buying technology when they're on Instagram. They're not buying technology when they're on Facebook. Or they will not buy the tech that their best friend has. But you will have all four reasons when you're buying jeans. You will buy jeans at a mall, you will buy it because you saw an ad, because your friend has it. So suddenly my channels of reaching out to you is very different. I
Oh,
sell technology at a trade show. I will sell technology through my website. I will sell technology at forums, right? Number one. Number two, I will not say this technology makes you feel the best. I will
hmm.
not say this technology will, give you the slimmest way or whatever. So the way your value proposition, but I will still talk about value proposition. So what stays the same is that you have to find channels to reach out to both. You have to find a value proposition for both. Now, the value proposition will be very different. Value proposition is for tech, I give you the fastest way to deliver this parcel. For jeans, I give you the one and you look the best. Then you talk about why somebody will buy from you. So your thinking process is the same. So somebody will buy a pair of jeans from you because you're either the cheapest or their friends are talking about you. You will buy technology because you've proven that you are very, very good when you're working with FedEx. You increase their first attempt deliveries by X%. आपने उनका delivery failure rate कम कर दिया. So your metrics is very, very different, right? If I want to spend on an advertisement on LinkedIn, for jeans, it'll cost me 1 rupee. If I have to spend ad on LinkedIn to help you buy technology, it's going to charge me 1,000 rupees. I'm still doing ads, but my jingle will be very different.
Hmm.
So while a human is trying to buy from a human, and your thought process has to be narrative, value proposition, channel, segments, what the content that goes within it and the thought process that goes within it. Now you can't decide a LinkedIn ad in the same way you will decide a mall activation, where you have to be way more creative. I would say creative, you still have to be on both places. But in B2C, your areas of experimentation becomes very, very wide. But even in B2B today, companies are asking for more and more creative people because B2B buying is getting boring. People are getting fatigued. फटीग मने कि मैं अगर अपना लिंक्डइन खोलती हूँ मुझे पता चल जाता है ये मुझे कुछ बेच रहा है तो मैं उसको बंद कर देती हूँ. If I look at an ad, I know they're trying to sell me technology, so I close it. B2C brands are very interesting. They have a humor, they have an interest factor. So right now when B2B is demanding more and more and more of creative people, but again the narrative and the story are going to be two very different stories, but both of them needs to have a story. You cannot sell anything to anybody in this world without a narrative, story and value. अगर वो तीन चीजें आपके अंदर नहीं है तो आप वैसे भी दोनों में से कुछ नहीं करोगे. और अगर आपके पास वो तीनों चीजें हैं, that you know what you should talk about, the narrative, the value, then you can sell in whatever excites you more. Like if selling someone a pair of jeans excites you more, do that. For me, it was tech, so I did that. So that is the difference.
Did you find B2C more interesting because you would meet a lot of models there and
I actually did
that-
not, because I
Okay.
felt that the immense level of innovation that you need to do in B2C marketing, like every campaign has to be innovative, every campaign has to be way different. Because I was just telling the students, right, that you have deficit economy. You have an economy of scrollers. If doesn't get my attention in 2 seconds, I don't want it. I'm moving on. In that deficit economy, trying to get the attention of the buyer and to sell them something is magic, is no less than magic. And the kind of exposure you have to things. There are voice ads that now LinkedIn shows you. Just because you shared Shimla once, now you're only seeing Shimla ads. Right? Now, so all of that, B2C is extremely cluttered and for some reasons very, not very, but comparatively lower paid. So I don't know how that will shape up in the next 5 years, but this is history, the way it has always been operating, because people are by default very intrigued to do B2C because they find themselves to associate more with it. And that is why traditionally a B2B job always paid higher. That was one of the reasons I picked it up, but eventually I gained a lot of interest in it.
Fair point. I think Ankita Gulia has a question today. She's thinking of asking a question. Ankita, you have a question today, right?
There is something in the chat.
Hello, sir. May I ask a question, sir?
Please. No, don't ask, please.
Yes, sir.
हार गिर जाएगा. Question पूछ मत लेना अरुण. पूछिए ना.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
What is your top marketing priority at FarEye right now?
To generate more business, to build more revenue, because right now everything in the world is disrupted, whether it is the macroeconomic conditions, the way businesses are buying, or whether it is AI, which is changing the way how people buy technology. The top thing that is a priority for any marketer today is how do I generate more business for the company I work for. Otherwise, as Dhyan sir said, you will be a cost function and nobody likes a cost function.
And one more question. What is the biggest marketing challenge, ma'am?
Deficit economy. Nobody wants to listen. Nobody is paying attention.
Exactly.
You have to show an ad to somebody 20 times, and that's expensive. But they're just not looking. They're just not listening. It's a fatigued and a deficit economy right now. People are tired of looking at the same things, and people don't have the attention. So how do you get it? Is the number one priority, for which I was in the US last week. And we were trying to build a very innovative community-based forum where people actually listened. So I was like, wow, good, we finally figured something out. So yeah, that will be the biggest challenge.
Thank you, ma'am.
Arun, have you unmuted everybody on their microphone so that they can ask questions? Because
yes, sir, do the same.
Yes,
Arun,
sir.
sir, if possible, do the same.
so
Open
that
this
because
forum
people
for
are not
all
able to ask
audience.
questions because their mic and camera both are muted.
Okay, sir.
Exactly.
Now done, sir. If anyone asks question.
Ishita ma'am, you are on mute. Ishita ma'am.
Okay.
Now,
Sir, I was saying.
everyone can unmute themselves, ma'am.
Please. Ishita,
Yes, sir.
please go ahead.
No, I was saying, sir, kindly unmute this audience. Actually, I have a question, by the way, ma'am. This question is from a student's perspective. Am I audible, ma'am? Hello?
Somebody put me on mute. Sorry. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Ma'am, I have a question. This question is basically from a student's perspective. What I observe on daily basis when I teach in class, students feel afraid while speaking. You rightly mention or emphasize that कि अगर communication strong करना है, confidence boost करना है तो बोलना तो पड़ेगा. और मैं क्या ऑब्जर्व करती हूँ कि इवन सेकेंड ईयर के बच्चे भी थर्ड ईयर के बच्चे बोल नहीं पा रहे. तो just because of they think that they will be judged by surrounded people. तो क्या एक मोटिवेशनल मैसेज होना चाहिए कि क्योंकि अब थर्ड ईयर उनका कंप्लीट होगा, प्लेसमेंट होगा, तो प्लेसमेंट ना होने की वजह भी सबसे बड़ी वजह यही होती है कि कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स स्ट्रांग नहीं है. तो क्या एक मोटिवेशनल मैसेज क्या होना चाहिए जो भी हमारे बच्चे सुन रहे हैं, ताकि उनको समझ आए कि कम्युनिकेशन कितनी जरूरत है, मतलब बोलना कितना जरूरी है.
If you are shy of people around you laughing at you, when you're jobless in a year, they will not come and pay you. They will not come and give you money. You
Exactly.
all need that job. It is your responsibility to make yourself successful. They have the right to laugh at you, but if 1 year from now they don't have a job, you're not going to go and give them your salary. You are on your own. And if you are shy of 70 people in a college, think about addressing audiences of 7,000 when you're out in the world. The lesser you think about other people, the more. See, now I'll give you an example. Today, if you start talking in a very weird accent, people will find it funny. But if you are just trying to talk in basic accent in a language that is very important in the outside world, if they still find it funny, the joke's on them. Right? So you have to really understand, you have to build your own life and your own career. And here 70 people are laughing, tomorrow 700 will laugh. This is what people do. People enjoy being behind the curtains and laugh at people, or to pull the other person down. You are responsible for your own life, nobody
Yeah,
else.
actually, I also think that students have to push themselves to go ahead because
And I
nobody
think
is
they're
there
all
for.
adults. It's their responsibility. They have to understand that if they don't do it, they're not getting paid. And mama and papa will tomorrow say, you better start earning money or start paying me rent. This is what the Indian culture should get to, how Americans operate. You either get a job at 20 or you pay me rent. हमारे culture को वो चाहिए. Because जब तक धक्का नहीं लगता है, कोई नहीं सीखता है. So, but you have to understand, यार, if you don't get a job, then that's on you. And if you don't get a job because your parents gave you the best education and you were only shy, I don't think that is where life should be headed. You have to really kind of say that, okay, this is how I want to operate. It doesn't work for you, good for you. So my education is
I'll share with a
slightly.
very practical case study with you.
Uh-huh.
I secured 375th rank in the state in Andhra Pradesh and went to a government engineering college in Tirupati. In Tirupati, none of the people knew Hindi and 95% people did not know English because they were from Telugu medium. For me to buy basic groceries, it was a nightmare because I was not able to spell what I want to buy, and shopkeeper will shoo me off. It is on that day I realized any language is just a language, nothing more than that. I started understanding alphabets first, started reading books, started watching movies, started speaking in language. People laughed at my accent, this and that, but I didn't care. I read more and more about literature. I again went into the grammar. I went into the serials, movies, how heroes, films, film industry.
Correct.
I watched a lot of Telugu films. I went into that language, deep into that language. And I learned it in just 1 month flat. English is just a language. In fact, in Hindi, we have 32 alphabets. In English, we have only 26. In Hindi, there are 16 vowels and consonants. In English, we have only 5. A, E, I, O, U. And they are vowels and consonants both. It's the simplest language of the world, which is the reason why it is prevalent all over the world. It's a universal language. If a student is not able to learn a simple language by reading novels, by reading newspapers, by talking in English, by watching English movies, and spending time on himself, if he's used to sitting in malls with his girlfriend all day, how will he learn English? That one staircases when malls have lifts. So student has to introspect actually. Unless an student work on himself, he's never going to be above the crest. English is just a language. There is no barrier to learn English.
And sir, the thing is that it's not only about English. ये बात सिर्फ इंग्लिश की नहीं है, बच्चे के अंदर जो हेजिटेशन होता है ना, उनसे उभरना बहुत जरूरी है.
किस बात का हेजिटेशन होता है बताइए?
डर कि लोग जज करेंगे, मिस्टेक करूंगी तो लोग जज करेंगे, लोग हंसेंगे, इस बात का सबसे बहुत ज्यादा डर होता है.
जब बोल नहीं पाएगा तब जज नहीं करेंगे.
एग्जैक्टली, तो बट वो तो नहीं समझते हैं ना, वो बेटर स्कीप करना ज्यादा बेटर समझते हैं कि उस मोमेंट के लिए, एक्चुअली उस मोमेंट तक स्कीप करना वो ज्यादा बेटर ऑप्शन समझते हैं.
देखिए, बच्चा जब तक मैनेजमेंट की फील्ड में बच्चा आगे बढ़ ही नहीं सकता जब तक वो खुलेगा नहीं. ये कोई साइंटिस्ट की फील्ड नहीं है कि आप अपने काम पेंचकस लेके लगे रहो जिंदगी भर और आपको सैलरी मिलती रहेगी. मैनेजमेंट
सर, मुझे तो लगता है हर फील्ड में बोलना बहुत जरूरी है. कम्युनिकेशन
बोलना नहीं, एक्सप्रेस करना. आप जो बोल रहे हैं, इट हैज टू बी प्रिसाइज. You must exactly mean what you're trying to say, right, Komal?
Correct. To be brief.
Question is coming from audience.
Yeah, sir, can I ask a question?
So Chandra Mohan ji has a question.
Yes.
Komal, I really appreciate your very vivid and precise description of B2B and B2C. Now I'm asking you a very fundamental question. How far the selling or marketing skills are inherent trait or inherent quality of a person, and how far they can be actually taught?
Sorry, I could not hear you. Could you say that again?
So I am asking the question: how far the qualities of selling or marketing are inherent qualities of an individual, and how far those skills can be actually taught? Very fundamental question.
Sure, I think they can be taught. That's why you have courses on it. It is not, I think anything in life can be taught. When a child is born, at that time also, he will do exactly what is taught to him. Like I'm surprised when mothers say, "Oh, ये ऐसा नहीं करता, oh, ये ऐसा नहीं करता," because हमने उसको वैसा सिखाया नहीं. And I have a 4-year-old son, so I am just preaching what I practice because I have realized that sometimes it's in our head. ओ वो तो ये नहीं खाता बिकॉज़ हमने कभी उसको बोला नहीं है खाने के लिए. हमने अपने दिमाग में सोच लिया, ओ वो तोरई थोड़ी खाएगा, ओ वो लौकी थोड़ी खाएगा. Every single person and every single thing in life can be taught and can be learned. So you don't have to be an inherited marketing and a salesperson. And some people are just able to talk more, so you'll feel यार कि तो क्या बेचता है तो बढ़िया बेचता है. But I will say that again, it is not how much are you talking, it is about how well are you able to explain. So if you only understand if communication can be taught, everything else can be taught. And there are principles of communication, it should be brief. You should talk about the headline first. आप जो किसी को समझाना चाहते हो, अगर वो आप 4 मिनट के बाद बोलोगे तो वो तो आप लूज कर चुके हो आप उसको. So if the fundamentals, everything can be taught. Say that again. Achha, I thought he was saying something to me. So to answer your question, every single thing can be taught. How marketing is done can be taught. It's all fundamentals and it's all principles. Even doing how to do sales can be taught. It's about the other person of how much blockage that they have. कि यार मुझे तो आता ही नहीं तो मैं कैसे सीखूंगा? आपने सीखा नहीं इसलिए आपको आता नहीं. So it's a very different way of operating, but everything can be taught and learned.
Prince, you have a question? Okay, one more thing I wanted to understand, Komal. Would you be open for internships and collaboration with DSPSR on some of the bright people whom you can select on as per your conditions? Conditions in the sense that who you think fits the bill as per the skill sets which are required by you.
I can surely look at it. I don't have a ready answer for it, but we can surely look into it.
Okay.
Sorry, I have another office call that I've committed to at 7:15.
No, even this call is finished. I mean, we have over shot this call, so I would leave it to Ishita to do the next steps and do the honor of giving a big flower bouquet to you, and a box of sweets will come to your home.
All right, it was really nice interacting with everyone today.
अरे सीता, देख क्या रहे हो? अब क्या करना है? कंक्लूड कौन करेगा?
Thank you so much, Komal ma'am. It was really a lovely session we had today. Now a formal vote of thanks would deliver Habiba. Habiba, go ahead.
We are truly grateful for presence of distinguished speaker Mrs. Komal Puri ma'am. Your valuable insight and the contribution you have made vision are highly meaningful for all of us.
All
On the
right.
Thank you.
behalf of on the behalf of DSPSR, I sincerely thank you, ma'am, for sharing your time and knowledge us, and Mr. Shivang for moderating the session so gracefully. My gratitude all goes for our respective dignitaries, faculty members, and my fellow students for making this event successfully. Thank you all and having a wonderful evening ahead.
Thank you, Komal. It was a lovely session.
Thank
Nice
you so
talking to
much,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you so much, Komal
And
ma'am.
looking forward to meet you face to face, as you already promised and committed on phone call. So I hope.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.